Exclusive interview with billionaire philanthropist Melinda French Gates. Last May, French Gates and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates stunned the world when they announced that they were ending their 27-year marriage. For decades, the pair appeared to be the perfect example of a power couple giving back. After splitting up, they still share that commitment, and they are maintaining a working relationship. They jointly run their foundation, which currently manages an endowment of about $50 billion. For the first time since that announcement, French Gates sat down with us for a wide-ranging interview about her journey of healing and her next chapter in life. Divorce is a painful process, even when it's what both parties want. It still is a very painful, personal decision. But most divorces, I think, aren't on evening news. It's not a topic of conversation. Did you think when you and Bill released that statement that it would be a national conversation?
Well, first of all, I think, I want to say that on the day I got married, I never thought I would end up being divorced. Never.
You really did think till death do us part, didn't you?
I did. And, unfortunately, I felt like I needed to take a different path. And so I think, we knew that when the divorce was going to be announced that it would be a surprise to people. And I felt bad about that, but I didn't have any sense of how big of news it would be. You can't anticipate something like that.
After the news came out, it was revealed that Bill Gates admitted that he had had an affair in the marriage. And at that time, did you think we're going to work through this? How did you handle something like that?
Well, I certainly believe in forgiveness, so I thought we had worked through some of that. It wasn't one moment or one specific thing that happened. There just came a point in time where there was enough there that I realized it just wasn't healthy, and I couldn't trust what we had.
There was one report that said it was multiple affairs. Do you care to say anything about that?
I think those are questions Bill needs to answer.
Okay. It was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It was awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in? I didn't realize that.
He was awful.
Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
I think so many times when women go through a divorce, they feel ashamed or they feel they did something wrong, especially when it's so public. So many women question themselves. What did I do? Was this my fault? Did you have any of that?
I don't question myself now, not at all. I gave every single piece of myself to this marriage. I was committed to this marriage on the day we got engaged and until the day I got out of it. So, no. But I also think society used to put things on women like it was our fault. No, I did nothing wrong. So I hold my head high.
Did you have moments where you were just so angry? Did you have moments that you were just in such pain? Because people look at you, Melinda French Gates, and say, she has it all. She has it all.
Well, I think it's really important to say, look, I had a lot of tears for many days. I mean, days where I'm literally laying on the floor in the carpet, this close to me, thinking, how can this be? How can I get up? How am I going to move forward? And days I certainly was angry. I mean, this is painful stuff. And at the end of the day, though, I started on this journey of healing, and I feel like I'm starting to get to the other side. And I do feel like I'm turning a page in the chapter now. I mean, it's 2022, and I'm actually really excited about what's to come in life ahead for me.
How would you describe your relationship with Bill Gates today? I don't even know if relationship is the right word. I don't know the word.
Well, we certainly have a working relationship,
Yeah.
right? And I would say we're friendly at this point.
Friends?
Friends is a different word for me. And, you know, that might come over time, but for me, there's still healing that needs to happen. Certainly, I wish him well. I don't wish him harm. And I think we have a productive working relationship, and I think that will continue.
Melinda French Gates says she'll keep working with her former husband at the Gates Foundation, which they co-founded together more than 20 years ago, as she works to grow her own company, Pivotal Ventures. Do you feel very grounded when you're here? Because that's how I feel walking in the door.
Yeah, I just feel really, it's just a very calming space.
Where she's focused on funding projects that empower women.
You are the recipients and the winners of a $10 million Equality Can't Wait grant.
And for French Gates, philanthropy is paramount. She started the Giving Pledge with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett back in 2010. It was a call to arms for the world's wealthiest to give away a majority of their worth. In her latest Giving Pledge letter, she writes this: "Giving away money your family will never need is not an especially noble act." You appear to be putting, as the kids of today say, rich people on blast, because you said, "I recognize the absurdity of so much wealth being concentrated in the hands of one person. I believe the only responsible thing to do with the fortune is to give it away." Were you challenging other billionaires?
Well, I do believe that if you are lucky enough to be a billionaire, believe me, you can give away half of it and not change your life. And we should. We should have a society where if for whatever reason wealth is in your hands, you put it back in society so that you change and you lift up others.
But I also like, too, in the letter you point out, and you want to do more than just write checks.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good enough for you, just to write a check.
Not for me. Now, some people do that. There's lots of ways to do philanthropy, and that's great. But I need to see it and feel it. Like, I cannot wait till this summer where I feel like I can probably go back to several African countries and it won't be, COVID will hopefully be enough behind us that it won't be disruptive. I want to be out talking to people. I want to see the work because it's in seeing and listening. We have to listen to people. They have their own solutions in their community. And if we listen, sometimes it's just a matter of saying, oh my gosh, okay, they've got the way to keep the water clean. Let's just fund what they know will work.
Today, French Gates says, she's looking ahead in all areas of her life. I always believe, Melinda, in order to move forward, you have to get through. And you seem to either have gotten through or you're still getting through. What is it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think I've probably gotten through the hardest times. Not that there haven't been some hard times even in the last 2 weeks. I do my very best to show up as my best self.
Are you open to falling in love again and dating? Are you open to that? Or
Definitely.
You definitely are?
Yeah, I hope that happens for me again. You know, I'm dipping my toe in that water a little bit.
You are?
Yeah, and you know.
What does the water look like, Melinda? Share.
Interesting.
What, does it?
I'll say interesting at this point, right?
Really?
And yeah, why not?
Look at that smile,
yeah.
Melinda, as someone who you described in the beginning as her cheek on the floor, you seem to be in a really good place today.
Thank you. I feel like I'm in a really good place.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited about my life and about the work ahead.
Now, in a statement to CBS News, Bill Gates said, "Meeting with Epstein was a mistake that I regret deeply. It was a substantial error in judgment." Both Bill and Melinda say they remain dedicated to working together at the Gates Foundation.
Friendly, but not necessarily friends.
Yeah.
Very interesting distinction.
There is. But, you know, she was such a class act, guys. She is so lovely and so full of grace. And this was not an interview to demonize or trash Bill Gates. I think she chose her words very carefully, but she was very candid. But she wanted people to know, she did this interview because she said, I want people to know I'm moving on with my life. I've closed that chapter. I'm moving on. It was painful, yes, but I'm moving on. And she is a whole, full, grown-ass woman, ready to move on to do good in this world.
And she's going by French Gates now. I guess that's deliberate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is her maiden name because she said, listen, it's the name of my children. It's the name of the foundation, which is deeply ingrained in her bones.
That's why she's keeping Gates.
Yeah, and she's not mad at the name Gates. You know?
Right.
She's not mad at the name Gates. Yeah. You know, but, you know, she is in a really good place, and it was just really good to see her that way.
And I'm happy she's ready to move on and find new love.
She
says she's dipping her toe in that water.
Can't you see people say, Melinda, my number is...
There's a lot of swimmers out there with floaties on. You in that water? I'm diving in.
There's a lot of
If you have
swimmers.
floaties on, you're disqualified.
This is true.
With floaties on.
Got to know how to swim, huh?
Yeah.
That's very good, Nate.